Welcome back to the Into the Dome podcast. It's been a bit, but this is episode 10, I think. I went back and counted, and it looks like we have 10, which is not more than the most views we've ever even had on a podcast, but it is more than some. All right, so we're just going to jump right into it. It's been a few weeks. Last time we talked more preseason about who we thought was going to be good, so let's go right into some surprises. How you guys feeling about the 1-5 Panthers? Nick, why don't you lead us off?
All right, well, the Panthers, I think that has been a surprising start to anybody that follows the NFL. If somebody at the beginning of the year was going to say that, or somebody said that they at the beginning of the year thought that the Panthers were going to struggle, then I would say that they're full of shit, because there's no way that anybody thought that they were going to struggle like they have been. That being said, I guess parts of it make sense, right? I mean, when we were watching it this weekend, I didn't realize this before, but they have 3 rookies that are starting in their secondary. That's absolutely crazy compared to when they had Josh Norman earlier in last year. I mean, that obviously makes a huge difference. And then,
does that include the one that they cut, the corner that they already cut after the Julio Jones roasting?
So I
think they even this would be like another rookie. It's ridiculous it's just how they thought they could get away with that. I don't understand.
I don't understand it either. And then Cam's maturity, is obviously being put into question. I mean, that was kind of called out on their loss last year. Or their 2 losses last year. But it just, he continues to amaze at how, awesome and fun he can be when they're winning, but then how sore of a loser he's been. I know he has this whole, show me a good loser, I'll show you a loser quote, but at some point you got to, have a little bit of self-respect and kind of just take ownership of things that are going wrong. And he clearly can't do that. I feel like a true leader is going to be able to lead your team in both good times and bad times, and he just hasn't shown capable of doing that so far.
And I think different guys act in different ways. It's interesting. Like if OBJ was like someone else, I don't know. People would look at these antics as like, man, he's just like so into the game. Like he's just like, it's interesting how like guys can be portrayed. But the way Cam's been looking since the Super Bowl walkout he's not helping himself out. But Sean,
Oh yeah. And so I mean, and it's like they've played a couple tough games. I mean, they played the Broncos and they played the Vikings, and I mean the Falcons. I guess
their only win is the Broncos.
They're better than we expected, but they lost to the Bucs and they lost to the Saints, who are by no means top of the league in terms of who we expect to be Super Bowl or playoff contenders. So yeah, go ahead, Sean. I'll let you put your thoughts in.
Sean, I wanted to check in because I don't remember exactly who you picked preseason, but I know that we did have a discussion on how come Nick and I were not ranking the Seahawks and putting them into the Super Bowl, because I believe that's where you had them. And I'm curious how you're feeling about that Super Bowl pick.
The Seahawks, I actually like the Seahawks still. I mean,
I'm sorry. I mean the Panthers. I'm sorry. The Panthers.
No, I mean, I like the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks and the Panthers. I don't think the Panthers really have much chance of ending up in the NFC championship.
Do you even think they can make the playoffs?
Yes, I do. I think they can win their division.
They would have to go like 9-1 to make the playoffs.
Yeah, not necessarily true. Do you not remember? I think it was either last year or the year before. I think it was the year before the team made the playoffs 7-9.
That was the Panthers.
It was the Panthers, right? And they played at who they played. They played either way. I forget who they played at.
I don't remember either.
I'm not sold on the Falcons. I think the Falcons are better, and I think they're proving me wrong because I've been down on them all year. The Saints can't defend anyone. Now, saying that, the Panthers can't defend anyone. I mean, the Panthers getting a shootout with the Saints of all teams and can't stop them. talking about one of the best defenses in the league last year, probably third best, maybe second best behind. I mean, Denver is clearly the best. But the weird part is, everyone always says like, "Hey, you have to build a team within the trenches, right?" Carolina didn't change anything on the front seven really, and they suck on defense. They're just getting abused. Got abused by Trevor Siemian week one, although they should have won that game. Sans a missed kick, and they're just getting crushed. It's so weird. And their offense is worse. I think Stewart is a big part of their offense. That I think we underestimate the running back's value at times because the whole league has gone so away from running back, and I think he is very good, and I think he brings a lot to the table that helps him. But I just don't know how to explain it. You know, Cam doesn't look that bad to me when I watch the games. He looks just pretty much like he did last year. Since he looks slightly off, he doesn't look as off that they should only have one win at this point. But
and he's got like 9 defensive linemen chasing him after a 3-step drop. So
yeah, but I also truthfully, you have to worry about his as at the quarterback position. You're the team leader, and I feel like that he hasn't performed as well as he needs to as the leader of the Panthers.
What has Eli Manning ever done to lead? And he's just fine at winning championships and playing well until now.
Okay, but
because here's what Eli. Here's what Eli does. I have to step in real quick. Here's what Eli does. When they need a drive with 2 or 3 minutes left and the game's close, Eli mans up more than almost anyone in the league history. And I'm not a huge Eli fan, but it's one thing you got to give him credit for.
That absolutely.
The game
under
is on
2 minutes. That's why I picked him in fantasy. I mean, under 2 minutes, he just always drives down and gets like a touchdown, like not even just a field goal. He just does it.
And that's a good point. And also, I think that I was watching one of their games earlier this year where OBJ was just being his typical head case, right? And when he was just absolutely going nuts on the sideline, what happened? Eli went over to him, patted him on the shoulder, tried to tell him a couple jokes, tried to get him to calm down. And, even though I think he might have been the one that threw the pick on the drive previously, he didn't let it get in his head. He didn't let it affect his team or his leadership skills. And so he went over and was trying to calm and settle OBJ down. And that's what a true leader does. I don't even like Eli that much, but what I'm saying is that I cannot see Cam doing that. But in the quarterback role and in a leadership position, you have to be able to kind of separate things out and be able to take that leadership role and help lead your teammates to success and victory, even though you can't let those things get in your head like Cam allows every little thing that goes wrong to really negatively impact his performance and consequently his team's performance.
Wait, I agree with Nick 100%. I think it's worth bringing up that Cam is the epitome. We've all played with or seen this person who, when things are going really well, it almost they gain momentum off it and they play better. But when their back gets against the wall and things start going against them, they fold, right? I mean, Cam seems like that guy. Whereas, I'm going to go to Brady, and you guys are going to laugh at me for it. But Brady is the exact opposite, right? When things are going well, yeah, maybe he starts rolling with it. But he doesn't let the game dictate it. He lets himself dictate it. Like, if things go against him, he just still himself. And that's what a true leader does, and I agree with Nick here. I think it's a very valid point, and it's something I probably overlooked until this conversation.
I think it's a little premature. I think last year he showed a lot of leadership taking that team, which was obviously very brittle, as we're seeing this year.
Correct?
What?
They never lost.
What adversity did they have? They were 15-1.
Well, okay. No, I'm saying, yeah, sure. But so far this year, I mean, he still led a comeback drive this weekend. He scored with 2 minutes left. He just left too much time for Breeze, and Breeze just cooked right through that terrible defense. I think, he's not guarding the guys in the DBs. He's not putting up a good example out there, but I still think he's doing it on the field, and it's been a really media scrutinized year as well as it is. And he hasn't really done anything really. He's just kind of been the same, but it's just not as fun because they're not winning. So the media then gets harsher.
Their defense is, which is weird because literally they were top 2 or 3 defense, and they still have Kuechly. and they still have pretty much all their defensive line and pretty much all their linebacking core. And it's very weird because that's where people usually criticize teams. Like, oh, yeah, you can go get the flashy sign of getting a big corner, right? Like Darrelle Revis. Oh, but you can't rush. Well, they're the exact opposite. They can't cover, even though these guys are getting rush on them, and they're playing well, but they just can't cover anyone.
They've given up a lot of points.
Well, I mean, what did they give up last week? It was over
41.
Was it over? Yeah, it was 40. It was 38-38, right? And then you kicked a field goal to win it. Am I wrong there?
48. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, field goal to win it. It was 41 from the Saints, 48 from Atlanta, and that was the game he got concussed, I think.
Yeah, but also there's the Saints, right? The Saints put up points. There's no doubt about that. I think that's got to be somewhat,
especially in the dome.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to tell you too, Atlanta puts up points in Atlanta, right? And that's where that game occurred. So it's not like,
and
I wouldn't
he
be
got
surprised.
injured.
I wouldn't be but he got injured pretty late in that game. By the way, it's not like he got injured in the first half.
Oh, I'm not saying it really it did anything with the result, but I'm just saying what's he supposed to do? I mean, Derek Anderson threw 23 passes that game. That seems like you have to have a decent amount of time for that.
Did you watch that game?
I did not.
I think he got injured in the late third or fourth quarter. I mean, it was the only reason he threw 23 passes is because
that's crazy.
I think they got either an onside kick or they went like 3 and out a few times, and then they had a chance to come back. I mean,
it looks like it happened fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did better with Derek Anderson than they did with.
Probably did.
I'm not going to come down too hard on them. I still think they make the playoffs. I still think they win that division.
Okay, so on that note, let me bring this up. So that means they would have if they would to win the division, I think they need. I think they would go 9-1 to finish the season because the Atlanta Falcons, they have 4 wins already, and their schedule is as follows: they play the Chargers.
Hold on, real quick. What is Carolina? 1-4, 1-3.
They are
1-5.
1-5.
1-5.
1-5. I still think they can make the playoffs.
But they would have to win the division, right?
Yes.
Okay. So right now, the Atlanta Falcons have 4 wins. They play home to the Chargers, home to the Packers, at the Buccaneers, at the Eagles, versus the Cardinals at home, and versus the Chiefs.
And that's the Falcons right there?
Yeah, that's the Falcons.
That's a hard schedule.
What? At Tampa, home to San Diego. I mean, San Diego's – they're going to beat San Diego. They're home to San Diego. They would have to really blow it.
I don't think so.
At the Eagles, we'll get to that later in this pod.
Nick, what do you think about that schedule? I don't think it's easy at all. I think if you're rating schedules for the next, how many games is that?
Hold on. And then there's at the Rams, home to the 49ers, at the Panthers, home to the Saints. Sorry, I left out 3 wins.
I don't think you left out 3. I don't know. I'm not sure they get a win at LA.
I mean, Rams, 49ers, Panthers, and Saints. Those 4 teams are not very good.
I mean, the Chargers, the Bucks, the Niners, the Saints. There's 4 games that they should be favored in, right? And they're 4-2 right now, which that puts them at 8 wins automatically, assuming that their other ones. The other ones they're playing the Panthers, they're playing the Rams, they're playing the Chiefs, they're playing the Cardinals, the Eagles, and the Packers. The Packers, I don't think are very good.
Exactly.
So, and
we'll get to that soon.
I think that the Falcons are going to end up with a winning record, and as it sits, the Panthers are going to they have an uphill battle to climb just to get to a winning record alone.
I wouldn't be surprised though if 9-7 wins that division once they start playing a lot more inter-division games.
So let's say that the Panthers need to get 8 wins. Let's look at their schedule.
No, they need to get 9 wins. 8 wins is not going to do it. 9 wins minimum.
So they need to go 9-1.
No, that's not right. They need to get 8. They need to go 8. They need to win 8 games.
Oh, okay. So you're saying
They need to go 8-3. No, 8-2.
eight
Sorry.
and two. They
I
have
mean,
to
look at their
play
schedule.
at
Go
the
ahead, Shrek.
Raiders, at the Seahawks, home to the Chargers, which you guys counted as tough for Atlanta.
I didn't say it's counted as tough, but okay.
At the Redskins, we can determine later if that was something. Home to the Falcons. Falcons pretty good. Home to the Cardinals. We don't really know. So we'll find out this weekend.
Cardinals, the Rams,
Give a bye.
and the Chiefs. Too.
I
No,
don't
you're
know if we
right.
count the Rams.
That's hard.
It
They
is
have
at
no
LA
chance.
too. Home to the Chiefs.
have-
Oh, I didn't see that game. Whoops.
No, they have no chance. I'm sorry. I take it back. They have no
It's
chance.
just so hard. I really believe
they-
if there was like an 18 game season, I'm with you all the way. But just like the idea of going 8-2 or 9-1, like that's crazy.
Oh, if they do it, they're gonna go to the Super Bowl again. But I agree. I don't think they have a chance. I think it's probably sub 2% at this point after hearing their schedule and talking through it. I just thought they could bounce back. I thought Atlanta's a farce like they were last year. But yeah, you're probably right.
I feel like
this
Atlanta-
started last year, isn't it? Well, they started 5-1 last year, I think. But I mean, they're 4-2 right now, and I mean they could definitely fall off completely as well. But I don't know. 1-5 is so hard to come back from. I'm not saying that they absolutely can't, but I mean that is no easy task.
I just don't see how the secondary gets any better. It just keeps looking worse and worse.
Well, I know, but yeah, no, I agree. No, I have to say I've come off it. The more we talk through it and talk through the schedules, I mean, I still think I'd rather see Atlanta in the playoffs than Carolina
I definitely would.
if I was.
All right, I think we've done enough of the NFC South. Let's move on.
So, hey, I mean that's the Super Bowl team that might not make the playoffs. That doesn't happen too often.
Dude, not
True.
not only might not
Former
make the playoffs,
MVP,
it might go
like-
like 4-12.
Yeah, I mean, like might have the first pick in the draft to decide on what a left tackle.
Yeah,
Not
seriously.
a tackle, cornerback, obviously. Some sort of.
They should take. Oh, it would be awesome if they took a DB number 1 overall. I would laugh. Okay.
If they were
First
number
ever.
1 overall, they're not going to be number 1 overall. They're not going to be that bad.
Oh, I know.
No, the Browns have that.
The
locked.
Browns got that on lock.
Browns have that on lockdown.
You could
No,
trade
they're still
down.
fun to watch.
You could trade
The
down
Browns
for like
are great.
a 2 pick and get like maybe an 8 and a 10 pick or something like that potentially.
Yeah, that's true. And then they could get like a guard and a corner. That would be cool.
No, here's what's gonna happen. The Rams are gonna be in like the 3rd slot. They're gonna trade up to the 1st overall pick and draft Leonard Fournette because they just do things that make no.
God, come on, man. Come on. Same in the
Really?
Rams division then. Sean,
3-3.
let's
The
move
Rams
on
are
to the
3-3.
I
Hey,
know they are, but
okay.
they make a lot of
Come on.
weird decisions, dude. They just literally spent. What did they spend to
do you
get
guys
Goff?
watch how they just lost? They are so pitiful.
They're not bad, dude. The Rams. I actually think the Rams are okay, but they make the worst personnel decisions ever. Like they spent so many assets on Jared Goff, and he's terrible.
I keep
He's
thinking that Case Keenum is just like going to get hurt and he's going to come in and he's going to be awesome. I don't know why I think that because I know it's not going to happen. He's going to be terrible. But
Dude,
Gurley is
Case
so
Keenum-
good.
Highest scoring QB in fantasy this last week. Second highest scoring. I'm almost positive. I have to double check.
It
I
makes
remember
sense.
You're
seeing-
right.
He was. I mean, they were just wide open. I don't understand. It actually makes me think that the Lions' injured defense is much more incredibly horrible than I thought, and I think that also then leads us to this. I'll just move up to this team. Is what do you guys think about the Packers right now? Do you think they're actually a good team, or because they? I thought the offense was back, but that was against the Lions, who the Rams just made look like shit. So, Sean, how are you feeling about the Packers?
I never thought I'd say this. I think their offense is their weak spot. Their defense seems to be pretty on point. I have to tell you, if you watch all their games, they're not getting lit up. You know, they're keeping teams in this high teens, low 20s. But something's wrong with Rodgers. I said it after the third game of the year to multiple people, but I don't know what's wrong with him. Rodgers is not, I think we go back like not last year, but the year before that. It was like, hey, who are the best quarterbacks in the NFL? It's Rodgers, Manning, and Brady, right? And Rodgers was arguably by a lot the number one quarterback. I don't think anyone can justifiably make that argument right now. I think he is, at best, maybe the fifth quarterback in the NFL. And it's very surprising. Not saying he's bad, but, I think Lacey's got major issues. I don't think he's very good at all. I think maybe they have O-line issues.
Lacey, they just I read something earlier that his ankle
He might be going to the IR.
And so they were saying he's going to miss at least a couple of weeks.
They're thinking of putting him on the IR.
Which is crazy because, by the way, do you know that they only carried 2 running backs? They put Starks on the IR, and then they have Lacey, and they just signed Knile Davis. So what? They have 1 running back, and they still have to find a second running back, and Knile Davis is going to be their number 1. By the way,
and Knile Davis couldn't do anything.
I hear Nick punching in his bid for Knile Davis right now, but
yeah, I'm very curious to see what that cost is going to be.
It's going to be a lot, I can tell you. Because is he available in the Dynasty League? I assume he is. I haven't even looked.
There's no way anybody has Knile Davis in the Dynasty League.
I don't know. There are people who have some interesting players, as we found out this Monday night. Kiri Robinson playing with a broken leg, like he's man. Who was the guy in the video? He's got a broken leg. The Madden video?
Greg Jennings.
Greg Jennings.
And then Darren Sharper, the hottest head free safety in the league.
Kiri Robinson, man. Oh, my goodness. So going back to what Sean was saying here, I'm bringing up something that was written in September of 2015. It's the Sean QB Manifesto. Tier 1, Rodgers and Brady. So so I'm going to quickly go through your tiers. I'm curious how far you would drop down Rodgers at this point. I mean, I know it can change in an instant because if Rodgers becomes Tier 1 Rodgers next game, then it's like all gone. But I really agree I think he just might be kind of done. Like, he's not bad, and I drop him only a few tiers, but he is their weakness right now.
Reaction Tuesday, Aaron Rodgers is done.
Have you seen Aaron Rodgers like last 16 weeks? It's really bad.
No, go look at his stats. It's really bad.
It's just weird. Like, it's really bad. And he was just missing open throws, and he's been doing it all year.
So Munn.
You know what's funny? Last year, everyone was like, "Hey, by the way, the fact that Jordy's not there." And it's like, well, do you remember like the fact that like Peyton didn't have an O-line at one point, that Brady didn't have a go-to receiver, that all these guys didn't. But, the issue was they kept winning like 11 games, and they kept putting up really good numbers, and Rodgers just didn't do it. And it's like, well, he's clearly not on their level anymore. Dude, Cam did it with literally last year, no one.
And Sean, on that note, I want to even look at quarterbacks this year. So your tier 2 was Andrew Luck. I think he fits that category of no line and no run. Their run game's actually decent. Gore is having a good year. Tier 3 is Peyton Manning. Tier 4, Phillip Rivers. That's a really good placement by you because he looks incredible this year.
I would have to say I would stick with Luck where he is.
So Brady gets to be on his own. Is that what's happening here?
Dude, Luck is in the worst situation. Sorry, I just sneezed 3 times really loud. But Luck is in one of the worst situations in the whole NFL.
It's crazy.
I mean, he has a great receiver with T.Y. Hilton. He has some ability around him, but the problem is his O-line is terrible. It's not just bad. It is, this guy is running for his life 70% of the time. So I don't blame Luck, because when you watch the games, he is in duress all the time. Rodgers is not, if you watch it. He's not in duress all the time.
I haven't really gotten to see much of the Colts because one, they're not on here in LA. I don't have the ticket, and two, I mean, they're never on the red zone because I think nobody cares about them, and they're apparently not in the red zone very often. So I really haven't even gotten to see much of them this year. So I really can't provide too much of feedback here.
Did you miss Sunday's game?
I did.
Night?
I did.
I think that was pretty killer to Sean's Indianapolis Colts playoffs pick.
Yeah, they're done.
They're done.
Say yeah,
the Titans look decent.
Still not sold. That's the worst. Still the worst.
Yeah. Let's move on away from that division. Let's go to a division that it's a really good division. What do you guys think about the Cardinals? Are they, did their win on Monday night convince you of anything, or are you still kind of worried about them? I know I personally, I'm not feeling too good about their year this year. I think Palmer's just done. What do you think, Nick?
You lead us.
I mean, they haven't looked good, right? And a win over the Jets with how pathetic they've looked, that's not going to convince me of anything. But they lost to the Patriots, right? And I mean, that's understandable. The Patriots are. I don't hold it against any team that loses to the Patriots, especially by 2 points, right? They lost to the Bills, who have been surprisingly good, and they lost to the Rams. And they seem to, the Rams always play those kind of hard-nosed teams really well. Wins over the 49ers and the Jets and the Bucs don't really mean anything to me. So what does that mean? What it means to me, at least, is I'm not counting them out. And I know. I think this is Palmer's first concussion that he's ever had, so I'm not really concerned about that being a lingering issue. But what that tells me is I don't have enough meat to really base my opinion based around, because I don't know if this is they're trending downward, because they still have some really good players both on offense and on defense, but also I mean they're not performing like one of the best teams in the league. So I don't know if that means that they're going to be kind of just a middling team this year, or we're trying to still figure out where they're going to be. But I'm not at the point where I'm going to say that Palmer's done. But I am going to agree with the fact that they don't appear to be the same team that they have been the last 2 years. But David Johnson is a beast.
He's so good.
He is.
I think about Arizona, Sean?
I think Arizona's still a contender. I would stand by. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Seattle, Arizona in the NFC Championship. I mean, let's think about it. Wild card, who's it going to be? It's got to be either Arizona, someone out of the NFC East. The NFC East not going to get 2. I can tell you that much right now. Unless their schedules, I haven't looked at their forward schedules, but I don't think there's any way they get 2. So I think Arizona gets one of the spots. I think Seattle ends up blocking up that division. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Arizona and Seattle in the NFC Championship, and I wouldn't be surprised if Arizona won. They've impressed me the last 2 games. I don't know if did you guys watch the I know San Francisco, it's San Francisco, and San Francisco sucks. Absolute dick.
They just played San Francisco and New York. Those are like 2 bottom 5 teams.
Dude, no, but I don't think New York is. Go look at New York's schedule. They had a hard schedule to start the year. I don't think New York is good.
They looked really good the first 2 weeks, and since then they've been really bad.
They've definitely had a rough schedule, no doubt.
Yeah,
go take a look at it. I mean, it's not like, hey, they're not losing to shit teams by any means. They end up. By the way, they beat the Bills, who a lot of people are on, and the Bills are, I think, in my opinion, pretty good. And they beat the Bills. They're not. I don't think they're a bad team. If anything, they're the good bad team. They're like that 15th best team, 20th best team in the NFL. But they're not garbage. 28-3 is, or it was 28-3, right, last night?
Yes,
Yes.
it was.
Yeah, 28-3 is an impressive win, no matter how you spin it. Your defense is coming to play, your offense is coming to play. I think Arizona's back, and I think Arizona's going to be I don't know if they're the surprise team because they are Arizona, and everyone in the world had high expectations for them. But I don't think they're toast by any means. I think they could easily end up in the NFC Championship again. Not again, but
I think that's really interesting. It would be, they have a pretty tough schedule, but I still, if Palmer starts making throws again, it's going to be really hard to stop that offense. I just want to point one thing out since you brought up the Jets being a possible good-bad team. I still have your QB manifesto out here. And since Todd Bowles seemed to open up the quarterback competition today in some comments, I just want to go and look through all your tiers, tier 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is basically everyone, and below everybody, tier 16, Geno Smith. Fuck my life if he is my starting QB. So there's your good bad team, starting your least favorite quarterback of all time.
I thought that he said that he was going to stick with Ryan with 50 for the time being.
he changed on it today.
He said something else today. He must have watched the tape again.
Yeah, but Geno, dude, if you start Geno, yeah, the Jets do become a bottom feeder at that point. Fitzy's terrible though.
I mean, there's nobody as he's just proved time and time again every chance that he's gotten, he is just awful.
Well, I got a game for you guys to play. We're going back to the Arizona game. Arizona plays Seattle this week in Arizona, Sunday night, 5:30. Do you guys want to try to guess what the line is? That's coming out tomorrow, so obviously we won't be able to verify it on this pod.
It's in Seattle?
It's in Arizona.
Nick, you go first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Let's see, it's in Arizona, which, geez, it's tough. Really
I'm going to say Seattle -2.5. And I feel like I could be low. That's what I think Vegas is going to feel about this game.
Well, you can find out roughly what it is. Go to Vegas Insider.
Yeah, I'll go there right now.
I'm going to say it's going to be – I think that on a neutral field, Seattle would be favored very slightly, but since in Arizona, I'm going to say Arizona -1.
I'm going to say Seattle -4.5. I think I'm wrong. I think Nick's right. I think Nick's closer to it, but I still, for some reason, think it's theirs.
Nick's
Seattle
got it.
-4.
Opened at -1.5. The line is moved to -2 for Arizona.
Well, I know what my super contest pick for the week is, but
And 96% of the money is on Seattle.
Jeez.
79% of the spread. How is the line moving towards Arizona? Wow. Okay.
yeah.
But
Wow.
I mean,
That's interesting.
I feel like
I'll
they're
be
going
watching
to be
that game.
I feel like they'd be pretty evenly matched. I would agree that Seattle has, a slight edge, and that's why, you give the 3 points at home. That's what it comes down to.
See, I thought it'd be like 8.5 or 9 if it was in Seattle. Well, no,
That's
you're right. I
exactly
overestimated.
what I
Yeah,
would
it should. I thought maybe 3 probably should have been the line, but yeah.
I think that's the weirdest line I've seen all year.
I personally thought actually last week Carolina was the weirdest line I saw all year, but missed that one by a mile.
Gosh, but they haven't shown anything this year. That's like all based on last year. That's what's so tough about that one. It seems too good to be true.
And I think that's why we've done as poorly as we have. I think we've put too much emphasis on where teams were last year. We got to remember that these are totally different teams from last year, and that's why I think that overall we've been doing so poorly in our picks is because of that reason alone.
I'm over 50% in both, so I don't know.
I think you're the only one that's over 50%. Well, you're definitely the only one that's over 50% in both. Are you the only one over 50% in picks, period?
Jim
No,
is
Jim's
also
with
tied
me.
with Sean at the top for against the spread. Super contest, Sean is up by 1 pick over Blake.
I hate Blake's new. I like Blake's new strategy.
It works.
Yeah.
That's all that
Going back.
matters. Otherwise, there are no other picks above 50%. A lot of 46 through 48 range going on, but pretty bad. Pretty bad.
It's the worst that we've ever done.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't know. We've been pretty bad in the past. Sean's been historically good. Yeah, I'm looking at the 2015 picks. You're right. They are better. Everyone was above 50, and it's only going to get worse as the season goes on. Still
I think
trying to
it'll get
figure
better.
out these teams. So another team I'm trying to figure out. Nick, you actually were talked highly about this team preseason. I thought they were terrible. What do you think about the Buffalo Bills?
I mean, they've performed, right?
Do you think Tyrod looks better or worse?
I think that McCoy, him being healthy, is a huge advantage for them. It was not a luxury that they had last year. I think that that's the main reason that they're doing as well as they are.
He has looked absolutely fantastic. It's awesome. When he hurt his knee this weekend, I saw a video. I was like, "Oh, please, God, no." He's been.
I'm looking at their schedule right now, and they lost to the Ravens and the Jets to start the year. And I mean, the Ravens aren't terrible. The Ravens, I think, are going to be one of those teams that are stick in most games. They're not going to get blown out, but they're not going to blow anybody out. But they beat the Cardinals, the Pats, and the Rams so far. And I mean, those aren't cupcake teams by any stretch. So I mean, I take them as a playoff team to start, and I think they have a good chance of making the playoffs.
I agree with you, but you got to remember that Pats game was a week. I mean, that was Brissett at quarterback. It was 16-0. They only scored 16 points, which there's no way they beat Brady if he's there with 16 points.
The Bills do have a very winnable schedule, and especially if you're comparing it to teams from other divisions who would have to get that second wild card.
I think the Bills will make the playoffs. Their defense looks really good. And like you said, McCoy's on a different level right now.
I hope he can stay healthy.
But there's no way he stays healthy.
It's just so hard.
Just based on his history, there's no way he still stays healthy the whole year, right?
What do you guys think? Do you think he's ever played 16 games in a season?
I think he did when he was in Philly, and he scored like 22 touchdowns a couple years back, but maybe he only played 15.
He played 16 2 years in a row in Philly.
Yeah, he scored a lot of touchdowns, so I would assume, he played all the games.
Oh, actually, the year he had 17 touchdowns, he only played 15. Gosh, he was good in Philly. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. I like the Bills. I think I was fading them a lot earlier this year, and I think it's time not to. I think the loss, if you watch,
been good too.
Yeah, I would say I've been very wrong about the Bills because when I do see them, I'm like, this team looks pretty good. Like they've been very solid.
If you watch the Baltimore game, NFL teams do get hey, that was really weird. Like KC got absolutely murdered by Pitt. It was like, well, they just got murdered by Pitt. It was just a weird, there's these games where it's like, what is wrong with this team? They just got crushed. Well, for example, like Pitt against Miami.
Falcons game 1 against the Bucs.
Why do you say Falcons game 1 against the Bucs?
They got lit up by Jameis Winston for 5 touchdowns. They lost their first game. Everyone was calling for Matt Ryan's head, and now, they're the NFC darling.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, they're not truly the NFC darling. I would say the NFC darling right now is the Minnesota Vikings, and they're 63 points allowed so far this season.
crazy.
Their defense is unbelievable. Their defense and their
Yeah.
special teams is great.
Are they your in? I mean, I don't think it's not. I mean, Bradford's had a very good year. He's doing exactly what they need. I mean, they've lost a lot of weapons on the offense, and he's just kind of cruising through it.
I mean, I made this comment earlier on the text stream, right? And I didn't realize it before, but Stephon Diggs, I mean, in all honesty, he's the best receiver that Bradford's ever played with. He played for the Rams, who literally had no one. And then he goes to
Tell that to Tavon Austin getting the 5th most or 8th highest wide receiver contract. Ugh. Sorry, that just goes back to Sean's. The Rams make terrible decisions. Continue, please.
It's true, but then I mean, he had Jordan Matthews for when he was on the Eagles. Like he hasn't.
Doesn't that guy like lead the league in drops every year?
I mean, honestly, like he has not had a receiver, and he still does. I mean, Stephon Diggs, yeah, he's pretty good. Is he a true number one receiver on an NFL team though? Right? Like I think. Maybe that I mean, yeah, he looks like a clown in that little kid jersey that, is special orders with the sleeves extra long or whatever he does. And it absolutely blows my mind when he gets sacked just because somebody grabs his sleeve and they tear him down. It's like, what are you doing, son? Like, it's unbelievable.
It happens frequently too.
It does. And like, I don't know, if I was a coach, I would not let him have those baggy ass sleeves. It blows my mind that they let him do it. But I mean, he's played. Maybe we were underselling him. He's played well, and he was the rookie of the year when he came into the league, and obviously, he's not as bad as we all thought he was. Is my bottom line, and he's done a good job with that team so far, and they've actually. They don't have, like you said, they have no offensive weapons. They're still scoring points. Obviously, their defense is what is the cornerstone of that team. But still, I mean, I think that we might have sold Bradford a little bit short.
Agree.
I agree too. Do you guys think that they are the favorite in the NFC to get to the Super Bowl?
No.
Nick?
I mean, the favorite right now. It's the favorite.
Not by Vegas, just for you.
By Vegas, yes. I'd say for me too. Yeah, if I had to choose one team right now, it'd be the Vikings. It'd be tough not.
Sean, would you take a different team? You said no.
Yeah, I would take Seattle.
Yeah, I think I would still take Seattle. I was Seattle preseason. I don't feel like changing it, but yeah, as of now, it's Minnesota Vikings 18-5, Seattle Seahawks 4-1.
Yeah.
Who would you guess was third in this list right now
to win the NFC?
To win the NFC Championship.
So right now, number one is just to recap. Number one is the Vikings, right?
Vikings.
Number two is
Seattle Seahawks.
Got to be the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think Nick's right.
Green Bay Packers.
I would not put any money on that.
Crazy.
Not even.
I don't.
And
care
then the Atlanta Falcons and the Cowboys are tied for next.
All right, what is the odds?
The odds for the Cowboys?
Yeah,
13-2.
What about the Packers?
It's good odds. The Packers are 6-1. So it's like 6.5-1 and 6-1 is the difference.
I think I would take I'd put the opposite bet down that they would not win the NFC at those odds.
I mean, I think I don't know what if Aaron Rodgers got hot. Their defense does look much improved.
Still, I don't think based on how they're playing, no way.
Dude, also based on the way the Cowboys are playing, the Cowboys have a great O-line. They don't have Daz, and they're 5-1. Dude. The Cowboys just went in the Lambeau and kind of handed it to Green Bay.
They did hand it to him.
I mean, yeah.
They just like I kept waiting for something to happen. It was just like, no, they just kept the door closed. They're like an old school football team. And I think that's where we should move to the NFC East, because my favorite in the NFC East, I look at these other teams, just going through them quickly. Giants, hell no. Then there's the Eagles, and it's like, Wentz, he's gonna hit a wall. It's just, and their defense is now looking weird to me. Redskins, I don't believe in. I think the Cowboys, like, far and away take that division. So, Sean, I know that you have takes on this division here. What do you have to say about that?
I think the Cowboys win it handily. I'm very surprised by the Redskins. I mean, I think they've been really good all year.
You think they've been really good?
The Redskins?
I still feel like it's all tricks and mirrors. I just can't do it.
Look, I'm telling you right now, I faded the Redskins for like probably 20 straight weeks. They're legit. Whatever they do, they've got something going. I mean, they won that division last year, and they somehow find a way to win games.
They found a way to beat the Browns, the Ravens, the Eagles, and the Giants, though.
I know. I'm pretty sure on our preseason podcast, I picked the Redskins to win it too.
I think you've been higher on the Redskins than both of us. So how come you were high on the Redskins, Nick?
Just based on last year's performance, and I thought that they only got better with Josh Norman, and I thought that Kirk Cousins having a handle on that team. I thought, and Kirk Cousins, hasn't really performed, but I just thought that they were a better overall team than they were last year, and they won the division last year.
And you don't think the division's better this year?
A lot better.
I mean, they have two rookies that are performing phenomenally on the offense for them, right? Like the Cowboys, that is.
Okay.
And so it's tough to – I'm not going to say that the Redskins are better than the Cowboys right now, because I don't think that that's necessarily the case, but I still think that I think the Redskins have a good shot at pulling out the wild card at the least.
Yeah, I agree.
I think I'll be interested to see them this weekend. They're playing at Detroit. And I think if Detroit's going to make a playoff push, they got to win a game like that. So I think that's an interesting team for both teams, because if the Redskins win that, they probably they can win a lot of these games that they have.
Am I wrong? Isn't that the London game?
No, the London game is a Rams home game against Eli Manning and the New York Giants.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Because I saw it, I was like, Rams home game, cool. I wonder what tickets are like. And it's like, oh, they're really expensive because they're in London.
Side note, Streck, you and I, we got to go. You, me, and Jack, we got to get to a Rams game this year.
Not happening. Have you not heard that it's been like horrible? The experience at the Coliseum has been like really, really bad. The first game they had, they ran out of water after the first quarter. And people said the lines for concessions lasted, like they would be in line for an entire quarter. Like, it's like they were super unprepared. I think they might improve as each game goes, but until they get an actual stadium, I just don't know if I want to get involved with that. It's so much nicer to watch the games at home and watch Red Zone.
I know, but I feel like we got to go to at least one. It's the first year in LA.
How about a tailgate? And then go to a Buffalo Wild Wings. I know you guys won't say no to that.
My play.
You've got a long way to go though to Buffalo Wild Wings from South Central.
Yeah, that's another thing. As our USC grad would tell us. Oh my goodness, I have no interest at this moment. When the new stadium opens, I'll be there. Sure, let's do it. 2018, book it.
Yeah,
so speaking of Buffalo, what?
Based on my work thing, as of what I found out today, I might not be here in 2018.
Well, maybe Boise Idaho will have a football team soon.
My second job, that is. I mean, this is my first job, obviously.
Obviously, yeah. You can work anywhere for us. So speaking, you could even work in the Buffalo Wild Wings, which this pod is brought to you by. So Here's this week's conversation you would hear at Buffalo Wild Wings table next to you. Tony Romo or Dak Prescott? Who do you go with? Sean.
Dak.
Nick.
Oh, it's tough. First of all, I will say, I just want to preface this with this. This is a good problem to have. You have two good quarterbacks that that can lead your team to victory. Their Cowboys' record with Romo has been really good the last several years, and his problem has been staying healthy. And now that when when he's not healthy, he can still perform, right? So, if I had to say today, I personally, I'd probably say you have to stick with Dak. I mean, it's they have the momentum with the team that they have right now, and you don't want to break that. And until you see differently, I don't see why you should change that.
Can I ask before?
I would go Romo.
Is Dak not the best pick of the draft? You got him in the third round. He's a legitimate starting quarterback in the NFL.
I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit. They have
5-1.
Okay,
he beat the Packers in Lambeau.
5-1, and he didn't throw his first pick till this week.
Yeah,
he just beat the Packers in Lambeau. I mean, come on.
He has a running back that's running for 180 yards a game and has 120 more yards than the next guy, and he barely even played in the first game. I mean, and then they have the best line in the NFL. And their defense has looked outstanding. It's just a really good football team. I think, there's nothing to take away from Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has been great. But, the Packers was their first real win. And even then, I'm not so sure about the Packers. They did win at the Redskins. They won the Redskins, but I still don't believe in the Redskins. But they beat them. But that one, we'll call that a good win. But then it was the Bears, the 49ers, the Bengals, and the Packers. You can convince me none of those teams are good, especially the top two.
The Bengals, I don't think they're bad as ever. Look at the Bengals schedule. They've played the Jets, Steelers, Broncos. They beat the Jets. They lost to the Steelers, lost to the Broncos, beat the Dolphins, lost to the Cowboys, lost to the Patriots. Those four teams four losses they have are all playoff teams. And then they beat the two teams that they're supposed to beat. And so I don't think that they deserve all the criticism that they've gotten. They've had a tough schedule so far, but
I agree.
They just looked bad, and I feel like their losses have just been teams kind of handling them. And it is for playoff teams. And the thing is, I expected the Bengals to be a playoff team. So to see them kind of get smacked around, it's just like I just don't feel. I've never felt that good with Dalton, for example. And
I think they only got abused by the Cowboys. Like that was the only game where I was like, well, they really underperformed. Otherwise, I think they
was the Patriots game ever in doubt? And the Patriots played bad. The Patriots had one linebacker starting.
Wait, I'll tell you right now, it was a lot closer than the final score showed.
Yeah, it was. But did you ever think that Cincinnati was going to do it?
Wait, but the Patriots are the best team in the NFL, especially with Brady back. It's not even close. It's like
I know. I don't even want to go
in New England, by the way, and it was Brady's first game back. I mean, I don't think that was a game you should fault him for.
Well, they better beat the Browns at home this week, or else I think that wouldn't go over too well with their fan base.
I know that we're coming up against the hour, but also, how about the Dodgers about ready to go up 2-1 on the Cubs here?
They're just smoking them tonight. 6-0. I mean, the Cubs not looking good. I know we talked about potential riots earlier, Sean, offline. I'm a little bit nervous if the Dodgers do that, if they win this year or lose.
Yeah, I agree.
Speaking of people rioting on the streets over, bad calls or wins or losses of championships, how about the missed PI call on Julio Jones this weekend? Oh, wait. The Richard Sherman. Yeah, the Richard Sherman on Julio Jones, 4th and 10. threw it up to him. Clear PI, at least in my opinion. What do you guys think about that? Do you think they should change the rule here? Can they review it? What do you guys think?
I think PI should be a reviewable call.
Every
I
time?
thought that for a while.
I disagree.
No,
I disagree. 100%.
No. I mean,
Go
look,
ahead.
I
Go ahead,
think
John.
I think they need to make a rule that PI is reviewable only at certain times of the game.
I disagree still, 100%. And the reason why I disagree is because it's very subjective, and it's very, it's discern. You have to leave the discretion up to the refs, because you could literally call PI on every single route that a receiver runs. You literally could, and it just you can't leave that subject to a review, because if you review it, you're going to see some ticky tack something or the other that comes up on every play. And you really want that every PI review at the end of the game to, if you challenge it, it's going to be a PI. I think it's a reasonable thing to expect. You have to rely on the ref's discretion at the end of the game, and for the whole game for that matter.
Yeah, but we've seen it too many times impact results of games. My opinion. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but
Well, something I've been hearing kind of going around the airwaves today. I'm very curious what you guys would think of this. It actually reminds me of, I think it was like 1993 Madden 1993, and like probably Super Nintendo, that you were able to get one challenge per game on a pass interference. And it was pretty much glitched. So if you did it, it would not be PI, but you would push the button. It's basically a mulligan that was installed in the game. Totally horrible, but so much fun when you did it to like your brother and he like broke the controller because you win a game because you threw an incomplete pass and you call the overturn button, and all of a sudden you put it in the end zone, Barry Sanders, and then controllers break. But what do you guys think of the coaches having one challenge per game on a PI call? A separate challenge from your other challenge. You just get a challenge, a PI call.
I think it's reasonable. I really do. I mean, I hate seeing. It's not the first time that we've seen a PI call either go no call. I agree with Nick, though. Nick does bring up a good point that if you really scrutinize it, you could call PI a hell of a lot more than you do. But at some point, it sucks what happened in that Seattle game. I mean, it was so blatant, And
that's the hard part about a call like that. It's sometimes, it's like, what do you do when they're both like, hand checking each other? Like, who's
wish that
matters
there was a
more?
way to do it. It's not that I don't wish there was a way to do it. There's no way that you could draw the line, though. It's like if you challenge a PI, it has to be egregious versus not egregious. It's just I don't see that being a way that I don't see there's any way that you could do that. Not that it, in a perfect world, the ref would get it right the first time. I don't see that being something that you can delineate on. Like I said, literally every single play you could call PI on if you wanted to, just like holding, right? You could literally call holding on an offensive lineman every single play.
Could that be challenged if you open up this rule for? Because they're both subjective calls. I agree.
I agree with you. And then also, I mean, there's talk about part of why ratings have been down this year is because there's more penalties, and it's the game's getting slower, which I don't necessarily agree with. That's one of the arguments on why they're saying that the ratings are down, because millennials, or they if the penalties, they get disinterested and they change the channel, right? And I don't necessarily agree with that, but if that's something that's contributing to it, you're not going to want to just slow the game down even more. You know what I mean?
It's a good point. No, I think you brought up good points.
And so it's not that it's going to be ideal. It's just I don't think that they'll ever implement it.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to enforce.
Either. I agree.
And we have seen it multiple times, like Sean is saying, but I don't think it's. We watch a lot of games. I mean, not every game ends on this call kind of thing.
You'd want to see it the other way though too, because there's been a lot of times where a guy gets blown for a PI and he doesn't PI.
Or what if a defense,
I mean,
the defense had him review a push off by the receiver on a game-winning touchdown? That'd be crazy too.
It would. I mean,
it opens up a lot. Then like think even it for like basketball. Imagine if like Michael Jordan's walk-off winner with the Bulls, if they reviewed it and said he pushed off, like that would just be so annoying. Like, there's so much in the moment going on. Like, like everyone's watching. It's just it takes away from like the sport. Like sport needs to have some imperfections to it.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
I have another question for you guys.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible the AFC West gets 3 playoff teams? Has that ever happened? Is that possible? Because I just like the teams in that division.
I think it's the best division in the NFL right now.
I said it earlier in the year. It sucks to be the Chargers. It sucks to be the Chargers.
Does. I don't think they'll get 3.
It's happened 5 times before, by the way, including the AFC West in 2013.
I think they get KC and Denver, and that's it. But that's my opinion.
So you're saying Oakland's out?
Yeah, I think Oakland's out. I know where Oakland is currently, but Oakland is. I mean, we saw last week. Clearly, KC is better than Oakland. I think Denver is one of the best teams in the NFL. I know that they've kind of sputtered, but
And I'd agree with you. It's just tough to just look at the Raiders, and it's like they've played well this year, and to think of them as a non-playoff team. It's pretty tough because, after them, I would say that they're better than the other teams, but because of the division and even the Chargers being good, it's just very hard to get enough wins to make the playoffs.
Well, yeah, because they may lose to the Chargers on the next time they play,
Yeah, I wouldn't want to play the Chargers.
I wouldn't. The Chargers aren't bad. I mean, I know that everyone wants to down them, but they're not a bad team. They're a pretty good team, honestly. If you told me the Chargers make the playoffs, I wouldn't think you were crazy.
The Raiders do have a very nice schedule.
Well, they've already had a nice schedule too, by the way.
Their next 2 games are at the Jags and at the Bucks.
Oh, you're saying the Jags aren't good?
Are you saying the Jags are good? They're not bad.
I was referring to Nick, He was really high on the Jags.
I think Nick said 1 year away.
No, but he said they were going to go
1 year away.
He's got 1 more year still, or half a year.
He did say they were going to go 7-9, and I think they're going to finish a few games off that.
Is that what I said? I don't remember if I did or not, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Hold on. So that means they would need 5 more wins for the rest of this year. Let's pull them up. It'd be interesting. I mean, they do get to play their division, which helps a lot.
They do have a tough schedule remaining.
Oh God.
Yeah, they're not going.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's not good. They have to play the Vikings still. Like that's just going to be ugly.
They suck.
They might lose players in that game. At the Bills, at the Chiefs, at the Titans.
Loss.
At the Lions might be tough. I don't know. I still don't really know what to think about the Lions.
You just love the Lions, Shrek.
Hey, the offense looks really good. They're fun to watch. There's not that many fun to watch teams in the NFL. I like offense.
Oh, I'm not going to say the Lions are fun to watch, but if I was a fan, I would agree.
Not either. I'm not going to say they're fun to watch either.
They've thrown for a lot of yards.
To Marvin Jones?
Marvin Jones is one of the players, yes.
No, I mean,
he has a lot of yards.
I know, but he was like an afterthought in Cleveland or in Cincinnati when they were a playoff team.
You know, people change, man. Why you got to be so rough on them?
I'm just
They're not
a
that
market-
exciting at all. But I am curious if they're a decent team or like they could be the equivalent of how you were describing the Jets, a good bad team, but maybe a little better, maybe more average. Because I think they do have a chance for a playoff run if the Packers do fall off, which I'm not convinced of.
I mean, they're 3-3. I mean, that's middle of the road.
Yeah,
well, and
I
they,
mean,
they obviously they're playing a last place schedule, I think, or a third place schedule or whatever it is.
I think it's
They
last.
They lost to the Bears.
They did lose to the Bears.
I know that really does solidify it, honestly.
Oh, but their schedule is pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of winnable games. That's the schedules are so huge, and with I think that's going to help out Atlanta a lot too.
I think you're right. I mean, I agree.
I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I'd be shocked.
I don't. Yeah, I think an NFC East team would make it before then because I still do think an NFC West team makes it.
Before we close out, why don't we throw out our updated playoff picks? I mean, real quick, just fire them off.
All right, give me your NFC Championship.
No, Sherrick, you pick your 6 playoff teams. You pick your NFC
6
champions.
playoff teams. All right.
No, per side. Sorry.
Yeah, so your division winners and your
just rattle them off.
All right, start with the AFC East. Sean, who's your winner?
Dallas.
AFC East.
AFC East.
Okay, we're all going to say
AFC
the Patriots here.
AFC,
Agreed?
yeah, Patriots. Yeah.
Okay,
100%.
AFC North. Sean. Steelers, Ravens, Bengals, Browns.
God, that division's gone downhill. But Pitt.
Nick?
Even with Big Ben out for a couple games, I think yes, Pitt.
Yeah, I don't feel good about any of the other teams. I'm saying Pitt as well. AFC South. I'm going to say the Titans.
I'm going Titans too.
Sean?
I'm going Texans.
Okay. Brock just looks so bad. Ugh. You know what? The
They're
Jags
still
could totally win this still.
Who?
The Jags. Their defense is much better. Want to hear something crazy about the AFC South? All 4 teams have a negative point differential this year.
Worst division in NFL by far.
4 teams, negative point differential.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And the Texans almost have the highest. Okay, AFC West. Nick, I'll let you start.
Broncos. I think they're still the team to beat.
I'm gonna go Chiefs on winning.
I'm going Chiefs as well. Broncos have looked really bad lately, and the Chiefs are just like they're getting their guys back, and they already did look good, and I like the Chiefs. That Steelers game is rough though.
I think they're playing a wild card team, but okay. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that it's just going to be so close in that division that I think even the Raiders can win it. Sure. I mean, I should just take the Raiders just so we pick one of each because I think this division is just really good. So
wild card teams for the AFC. I go Broncos and Bills. Or excuse me, Chiefs and Bills.
Wait, did you hit all the AFC divisions?
Yeah, we all picked the Patriots. I think we all picked the Steelers.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
We split on Houston and Titans, and then I'm going to take Oakland, so that way we each have one of the AFC West teams. And then Nick gave
Broncos.
Okay, and then Nick, who were your wild cards?
Wilds are Chiefs and Bills.
Chiefs and Bills.
I'm going Broncos, and Nick and I have the same playoffs. I'm going Broncos and Bills.
And I'm going Broncos and Chiefs. So the only difference is I have the Raiders in, and it's just because I want it to happen.
Yeah.
No Ravens, no Bengals, huh? That'll be the first time in a while that one of those teams aren't in.
That would be crazy if the AFC North didn't get it. That's probably what's going to happen, but still.
I don't think so.
They all get a free win against the Browns, so that helps.
All right, let's fire through the NFC.
NFC East. I'd said earlier Cowboys.
Cowboys.
NFC North, I said Vikings.
I think we're all Vikings too.
All righty.
We're so interesting.
NFC South, I'm sticking with the Falcons. Anyone want to pick anyone but the Falcons?
No, I'm gonna go Falcons too, even though
NFC West, do we all go Seahawks?
Yep, I do.
I'm not sure. I'm going to go. I'm going to go Cardinals.
Interesting.
Yeah, you're going Seahawks though in the wild card. I know that.
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
One of my things was: is there any chance in the world that there aren't one of the wild cards teams does not come from the NFC West? And I still think that's going to be the case.
Oh no, they're getting 2 teams. I think. So I think we all either are going Cardinals or Seahawks with that wild card, right?
I'm
And so
not
wild
convinced.
Seahawks and Redskins.
Cardinals.
I'm going Seahawks and Redskins for my wild card.
I'm going Cardinals and Redskins. Nick and I again have the same exact playoff picks. But
And I'm going to go Packers and Cardinals. And I don't feel good about it whatsoever.
Not going to stick with your Lions?
Screw it. I'll go with – I actually just don't like the Packers the way they're playing. I do think Rodgers is – like once he starts clicking just even a little bit, the team looks more or less fine even with him playing bad. And that can just change in an instant. So, but I'll take the Lions. I'll believe in Jim Bob Cooter and Matthew Stafford. All right, so let's go to our NFC Championship. I'm going to assume Vikings versus the Seahawks is what I know. Like the matchups might not work, but whatever. I'm assuming they are, and I'm going to take the Vikings over the Seahawks. I changed my mind. Sean?
Going Seahawks and Cardinals. I'm going to take the Seahawks.
I'm going Vikings, Cowboys.
Nice. Who do you have winning?
Vikings.
Nick or me?
Oh, wow. So I have the Vikings in the Super Bowl. Sean has Seattle.
Seahawks.
And Nick has the Vikings. Wow. That's crazy to think of Vikings in the Super Bowl by 2 of us. Oh, man. All right, Sean, what's your AFC? Or actually, Nick, what's your AFC championship?
I am going to go – gosh, I feel like it's so unoriginal. Pats and Broncos.
I'm going to go Pats and Chiefs.
I'm going Pats and Broncos. Even though I picked the Chiefs to win that division, but
So that means, and I'm guessing, or Sean, do the honors. Who wins your AFC championship game?
Pats, then they win the Super Bowl.
Nick, who's your Super Bowl champs?
Super Bowl champs. Pats versus Vikings. I have to say, I'm going to go with an upset. I'm going to go Vikings.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I'm going to be boring. The Pats just look like the best overall team. Be crazy if it was a back-to-back Broncos Vikings Super Bowl champions. Just all defense. Oh,
Defense.
I don't see it.
Championships.
I do like the idea though of AP like just getting into the playoffs and being ready to go. That'd be cool. It probably won't happen though.
How much props by that? I don't know the name of the Vikings GM, but how much props are going and getting Bradford, knowing that they have as good a team as they do, and going and making it happen while they score.
Huge props, especially moving to that new stadium. Massive move.
Because everybody was giving him shit for doing it too, and he's just
kind of a perfect trade for both teams.
Yeah,
because the Eagles, there's a tie on to it that like with how much team success the Vikings have is how high the second pick is.
I love that.
So it could go to the Super Bowl and the Eagles would be like, yes, we just got a second rounder too.
Well, and the Eagles
it's just
are
like a
hey,
cool
look,
trade.
by the way,
It's like a happy trade that rarely happens. Usually you're like, ooh, they screwed up bad.
Well, yeah, the Vikings are going to be more than happy if they go to the Super Bowl. They're more than happy to give up a second round pick if they got to go to the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, nothing beats it. What were you
Well,
saying, Sean?
Well, I was gonna say, and the Eagles are like, we have our guy, who's our QB.
Yeah, that's
For the
Wentz looks great. Of
Yeah,
course, the
I
only
mean-
people look bad are the Browns again.
It's hilarious.
Oh my gosh, it's just so sad.
Worst management in the NFL.
Easy. It's a new regime this year.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, friend of the pod, friend of the pod. All right, well, it was good talking to you guys this week. Had a really good one. Good luck in your betting this week. We'll hopefully start seeing those tomorrow, those lines, and then good luck in fantasy. I know it's going to be tough for you, Nick, after I'm looking through the injuries of the day, and they include a wide receiver in your team going to injured reserve and Vincent Jackson, if he was still on your team, and also you're losing the
This is
fat
Dynasty League
pizza
for the
Eddie.
record.
Fat
He's on the
pizza
bench.
Eddie.